cranky and cooler on. Push a pause for relief. Prepares, you don't even have to ask to be the cat in the sun. Someday I will see the whole deal through. Today I've got better things to do. Okay, to leave a little bit undone and be the cat in the sun. Be the cat in the sun. Set aside every empty spreadsheet line and loosen up on the grind. Simmer down, settle back and mess around. Be the cat in the sun.
Hello and welcome back to a new watercolour video. Today I'm going to use Neocolor II in the sketchbook again. I want to fill this page here, but I want to kind of stick with the same colour scheme. So I want pinky colours, just colourful, but it needs to have some pink in there so that it'll fit nice with this one. So I'll explain what I'm doing if you'd like to follow along. I'm just going to kind of draw a landscape freehand. I'm going to have a little house on a hill and some trees and some flowers and some rolling hills in the background. So if we do the hill first, so the peak of the hill kind of over to one side so that it's not in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to draw a little house on the top of the hill. So we want kind of a little rectangle, and then we want a little kind of shed coming off, just like a little kind of outhouse kind of thing. And then there's like this is the corner of the house, and then we want a peak here. Then we'll have a little chimney. So now I'm going to do some sky. So for the sky, I want it to be super light blue, so I'm going to use the cobalt blue 5%. I want to try and get lots of pigment down there so that it'll turn into a nice paint consistency when I add the water. But I don't want it to be that dark, so I'm going to add white into that to really lighten it up. Maybe bring it a little bit further down here. I'm going to add some mountains and hills in the background, but I don't want the sky to be exactly the same all along, so I'm going to bring the sky down a little bit more at this side. So yeah, I'm still experimenting with Neocolor II, so I'm still really not exactly sure what I should be doing or how they work best. So I'm just trying to get some practice in. So I can't decide whether I should now wet the sky, let it dry, and then start adding the hills in underneath, or just put them all in and then wet it all at the same time. I don't know what to do for the best, but I think I'll wet this first, dry it off, and then just do it in stages like that. Just want to make sure I've definitely got loads of white on there to lighten that up. Okay, I'm going to use this square end flat brush. Try not to put too much water on, just enough to turn it into a nice gouache-like consistency. So it's left a kind of texture. I suppose that's because I maybe just don't have enough down there, but I think that's quite nice. I like it. I think it gives it some nice character. So next I'm going to move on to some background mountains. I think I'll use this Amazonite for the more distant mountains. And then I want to introduce a little bit, make them a little bit greener as they're getting closer. Then I'm going to get Skagen blue for this area. That could maybe be some water in the distance. So I want these really cold greens. So this one is chrysoprase green. Actually, I need a darker green. I want them to stand out against each other, the hills, and that's too close. I'll add a little bit of this emerald to darken that up a little bit.
Feel through today. I've got better things to do. Okay, to leave a little bit undone and be the cat in the sun. Be the cat in the sun. Set aside every empty spreadsheet line and loosen up on the grind. Simmer down, settle back and mess around. Be the cat in the sun. Someday I will see the whole deal through today. I've got better things to do. Okay, to leave a little bit undone. Be the cat in the sun. Be the cat in the sun.
I'm actually quite liking it. It leaves a really nice painterly texture. It looks really nice.
Stretch out, lean back, be the cat. Stretch out, lean back, be the cat.
Just going to very lightly activate this just get rid of those streaks that I made. Okay, I don't like how this has turned out, so I'm going to go back over that with white, and this is too dark here. And I need to lighten this, it's just still too dark. So all this in the background has got to be pale so that it's not fighting for attention from the foreground elements. So I'm going back over this with a lighter blue to try and smooth it out. Okay, so yeah, that's nice and faded. So I want to make the whole foreground really vibrant and some trees around the house really vibrant. I want some nice bright autumny colours, so I think I'll go with this one. Zinc ochre, russet ochre, golden yellow, and then maybe some warm greens, light olive. I'm going to throw in some of that pink as well, maybe a brighter green as well. So I'll start with, yeah, I'm just going to mix up some of these colours. Okay, I'm going to leave that for now, move on to the house, and I might add some more deeper colour onto this at the end. I'm going to use the white, and to add a little bit of shading in the smaller details, I'm going to use a little size 0 detail brush. I'm going to cover the whole of the house in white. Going to get a little bit of paint off the end of this, just like a mid blue colour. I'm going to paint in a couple of windows. Just going to add a little bit of colour, tiny little bit of colour here, just to darken that a little bit so it looks like the sun's shining on the front area. Then I'm going to use this sepia colour, just a dark colour really. Put a little window here in the shaded side, little window here. And I'm going to use this dark garnet to put some roof on there. And you get a little bit of sepia. Just kind of add just some little shaded areas. And maybe have a little front door. Where should I put the door? I don't want to just like stick a door right in the middle there and make it all kind of symmetrical. I'm just going to kind of leave that because the door could be around the other side, because I think that just looks nice like that without too much detail. Now I'm going to add the trees, and I'm going to use these type of brushes. Now these are for trees and foliage. I'm going to use this palette. I'm going to get really dark green. So lots of different greens. Some kind of autumny colours as well. So I'll have some of the trees green, some of the trees kind of autumny. Don't want that one. I'm looking for a really dark colour so that I can darken the trees. Yeah, maybe that one. I want like a super dark green, but there isn't. I mean, that is dark green, but you know when you want like a really dark green. I think I'm probably just going to use the smallest brush. So if you want to know what these are Stephen Coates foliater, and it's Pro Arte that makes them. So this is a medium one. So I'm going to get some water on the brush and then dab some of it off. And then we'll just go right in with the dark green and just pick some of that up on the end of the brush. I'm gonna create some really kind of tall trees. Just gonna dab, make the shape of the tree. I want some long, tall, thin trees. So I'm just gonna get the basic outline first, and then I'll add some more colour and detail. And up on there. Okay, so they're the basic shapes. So now I'm just going to build the colour up. Yeah, I don't think it's really working, this brush. It's not, I'm not getting... I might try this fan brush here. Yeah, I'm getting kind of more colour out of that. I think that's a little bit better, just using the very edges. Yeah, that's better. Then with a super thin liner brush, which is this one, and some sepia, I'm going to add the tree trunks. So just like really skinny tree trunks. And just like a little bit of faded foliage further down, just so that kind of goes into the background, but just gives a little bit of detail down here. Now I'm going to add a little bit more colour to this area here. I think I'll add a little bit of white to the pink areas. Just lighten some areas up a little bit, and I'm going to put some colourful flowers over the top of this part. So this will help them stand out a little bit. In fact, I think I'll make it quite dark in this bottom area. So I don't think I'll be able to put flowers on the top of this. Actually, I'll just try. Yeah, so we could have some nice red flowers. Just see if the colours will go over the top of this. And if not, I'm going to use some gouache. Yeah, they're not really going to stand out very well, so I'll use gouache. So I've got a few colours here. So I've got red, orange, pink, blue, white, and I'm just going to add some flowers along here as though there's flowers kind of in the foreground of the picture. So I'll start with some blue. I'm going to like blob it on really thick. Just make some shapes. Just gonna add a little bit of white to lighten these up, because it's drying fairly dark. I want it to be a little bit lighter than that. In fact, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make all the flowers in white and then just paint some other colours over the top, because look how dark, everything's just going to dry really dark. And you need a white behind it sometimes. So I think I'm going to leave it like that. I really like how this is my favourite bit, just this bit here. It really makes the hill stand out against the background. So I'm going to get that dried off and get the tape off, see what it looks like. I'm going to try and tone these down, these flowers, because I've just realised that they're so vibrant, they're taking the attention away from this, and this is supposed to be the focal point. So maybe I should just go a little bit of white over some of them, especially the red. It's gone kind of like a really dark red. Yeah, that's toned that down a little bit. I want to do something with the trees that they don't really stand out enough. I might add some gouache onto those. A little bit of this, but I think I'm going to have to lighten it up a little bit. There we go, so that's the finished picture. I think it looks quite cute, quite simple to do. Just a lot of fun really with the Neocolors. I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. Okay, so my next video will be up on Sunday. I hope you enjoyed it and thanks very much for watching.